Good afternoon, everyone. I am Tamara Rodriguez, and it's a pleasure to be with you today. Today's conversation is going to be focused on plugging in the 305 community and Chairman Oliver Gilbert's leadership in the tech space. Now, it's good to see you, Chairman Oliver.
It's good to see you also. Listen, you said good afternoon. Nobody said good afternoon back. Y'all mamas, y'all raised, they raised y'all better than that. Good afternoon. There you go. We're going to be interactive today.
That's right. That's right. So Chairman Oliver Gilbert, you've been a public servant for a very long time.
Yeah.
And you sit as the chairman of the Miami-Dade Commission. But what some of the viewers and the audience might not be aware of are all of your initiatives in the tech space.
Yeah.
So talk to us about some of those initiatives.
Well, it's not just my initiatives. It's the county. Look, one of the things I note about the tech space, innovation, is that if we're not very intentional, if we're not intentional, that this tech revolution, this innovative revolution, it'll pass by communities if we don't actually make an intentional effort to include them. So when I do things like partner with Ted Lucas at The Source, because he actually brings in startups and actually helps them get capital, and he actually gives them the capacity to actually grow their talent, that's important. When I talk to people like Anike at Seek, who actually go into our parks in this county, in the north part of the county at least, and actually teach kids about science, technology, art, mathematics. When we actually do that, what we're actually saying is that we know that there's been a gap previously. We know there's been a gap previously, and we know that it's incumbent on us to do the things that close that gap. It's incumbent on us to actually make the American dream accessible to all of those kids.
Yeah, so you're investing in people.
Absolutely invest in people. And if you really think about it, that's what you have to do. There's a young man, his name is Barrington Irvin. Barrington was the youngest person to fly around, circumnavigate the planet in planes. He got fans out there right now. Yeah, clap for Barrington, you all. So Barrington started a program called the Flying Classroom. The Flying Classroom comes in and it teaches people from our community, underserved communities, how to become pilots, but not just pilots. Engineers, mechanics. He's training them to work in the airline, in the aeronautical industry. It's important. He created something called the Innovation Lab. You know, he created the Innovation Lab at Opelika Airport because what he said was, a lot of times the kids at these schools, you know, the American, the Edison, the Central, the Northern, the Carroll City, the Northwestern, where he graduated from, they don't have the opportunity to actually engage in this type of activity, in this type of learning. And giving them access to this type of learning is giving them access to the American dream. Because as we try to build a community that's prosperous, we have to be intentional to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to prosper. And people doing that, finding those people, working with them, always understanding that it's never just going to be government. It's going to be all of us. Look, it's going to be people like you at Island TV.
Yeah.
And how you help get the word out and how you help spread the word about innovation and programming that actually helps people all throughout the Caribbean, and also right here in South Florida where you have a large viewership. Connecting with folks like that who are doing good things, finding ways to amplify their efforts, finding ways to be an ambassador of the things that they do. I don't need the credit. I don't have a proprietary interest in success. I have a proprietary interest in us getting it right collectively. And we have to get this right.
Yeah. And so speaking of Island TV, we're very proud that you've chosen our platform to air your show in the 305 with Chairman Gilbert, where we talk about the pulse and what's happening in Miami.
Yeah.
And so we're very excited about that. So people tune in, download the app, right?
Yeah.
And so when we talk about the Caribbean community that is growing exponentially here in South Florida, what are some of the ways that we want to make sure that we leverage the diversity, the cultural diversity in Miami to foster innovation and entrepreneurship?
Well, you know, it's funny that diversity, our diversity is really the secret sauce to what Miami-Dade County is. We've been called the Magic City. But the magic in Miami-Dade County is the people. The magic in Miami-Dade County is the fact that 50% of this county was born someplace. The magic of Miami-Dade County is the fact that we come here and we're here with that type of hunger that transforms places. So the diversity of Miami-Dade County is something that doesn't just attract capital here. It doesn't just attract talent here. Look, we're here at Merge. We got over 100 companies from all across the world because you all understand the importance of diversity, because we understand it. Because we understand the fact that You know, a problem in Chile and a problem in Argentina and a problem in Jamaica, if you can code for that problem probably exists in Nebraska and Missouri also. It probably exists in Miami-Dade County also. We understand that your talent is transferable. Your imagination, that innovation is transferable. Investing in that, cultivating that. Look, one of the things that's extraordinary about our diversity is, well, I'll talk about it like this. A long time ago, and I'm going to date myself, when I was in high school, they started teaching computer programming. And they had this, the very first day, they said this thing. They said, garbage in, garbage out. And so that was the programmer's way of saying, if you don't get it right going in, I guess it won't be right coming out. Well, I think about our diversity like this: diversity and brilliance in, diversity and brilliance out. If we create, and we have, a diverse and brilliant community, and we overlay that with the ability to activate and to be connected to resources and opportunity in innovation, then what will come out will be diverse and what will come out will be brilliant, because it's going to be reflective of us. And finding a way to do that, continuing our efforts to do that, is top of list and top of mind for me.
That's fantastic. And as we talk about investment in people and in your leadership, what are some of the partnerships, that public-private partnerships, that you can talk to us, like some success stories that you've experienced when we all come together to the table to foster creativity, entrepreneurship, community building in technology?
You know, so we have our partnerships. You know, we've done some things in conjunction with broadband access. 85% of people have it, but we're trying to make sure everyone has it. We've done 75,000 families rather, since 2022. Since 2022, we're going to double that in the next 2 years. We understand that type of access, I think that's success, because those are families that didn't have access, that now they do have access. The partnerships with people like The Source, Ted Lucas, with Nikkei at Seek, those are important because they're out there doing great work. But when I think of personal success stories, what I think about is this young lady who came to my office back in 2008, when I was a city councilman in Miami Gardens. Young lady came, she had been accepted to the University of Florida, and the University of Florida required her to have a laptop. And her parents could not afford a laptop. And she came because I was her city councilman, and she asked me to get her a laptop. Well, back then I was practicing law, and I had a little bit of money, and so I bought her a laptop. But it occurred to me that there'd be a lot of students just like her. And so since 2008, I've been raising money and writing checks to buy students who were done well in high school, going to college, don't have a laptop, getting them a laptop. Students from now, Crop, American, Northwestern, Carroll City, and Norland now. And so I do that because I know that first of all, it helps those kids. But I do that with the knowledge that when I'm walking through Walmart and a young lady says, hey, you don't remember me, and I say, in all honesty, I don't. Tell me where I know you from. You gave me a laptop, and now I'm finishing my PhD.
That's amazing.
You gave me a laptop.
That's amazing.
I just finished pharmacy school. You gave me a laptop. I just got my master's in engineering. You gave me my laptop. I'm studying for the bar exam. So I know that we aggregate little things like that. So it was just a laptop for me. It cost a little time, a little money. It was a laptop.
But it planted the seed.
It planted the seed, and it helped them continue to grow.
Yeah.
It's aggregating those individual success stories, because that's 200 laptops since, we've been giving 200 out probably now since, I don't know, 2010, 2012, a year.
It's amazing.
So we know that those students became adults who are now out there doing extraordinary things, and I'm happy. When I think about success, I think about those kids. I think about those kids because I'm helping them shape their lives.
That's fantastic. Talk to us a little bit about the Seek Foundation.
Oh, the Seek Foundation. So Nikkei.
And what is Seek? S-E-E-K.
You know, I can't even remember because I just say a Nikkei from Seek. But if you all need information about them, you can call my office and they'll get it for you, because we give them money and we've been raising money for them. What they do is this. We got her a spot over in Miami Gardens in a building that we built at Bunch Park. And she brings kids in after school programs and for summer programs, and she actually teaches them coding. She teaches, they build cars. They run science experiments. They work in art. She provides what schools and sometimes in our areas don't have the opportunity to provide. She's now working with them with things like AI. So she understands that the future is forward. And so talking about what was is cool, but talking about what can be is what we have to do. And she's giving them the exposure to what can be. So Anike at Seek, when I think about those programs, why I continuously support it, it's because ultimately she's cultivating children that can be transformative, not just in this community, not just in this country, but in this world.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so how do you see Miami positioning itself as a leader in emerging technologies such as AI, you just mentioned that, blockchain, clean tech, and what role do you play in supporting this trajectory? So you talked a little bit about that, but let's kind of narrow it with the technology.
One of the things I did as a commissioner was create something called the Miami Innovation Authority. She was in here a little minute ago. I saw her, Leanne Buchanan. Mm-hmm. She's the head of that authority. She was over there. And it's an idea we got from Israel when we visited Israel. And the idea was to actually create a space for people who have talent and people who have ideas and people who have company startups to actually come together and put in work together and collaborate and see how we could partner with them to solve big problems. And in the context of doing that, we're actually giving them big problems. We're talking to them about resiliency. We're talking to them about how we actually use AI to improve customer service at the airport. We're talking to them about those type of things because we want to solve those problems. Now, we can have programs like that. We do have programs like that. But if we're going to truly not just recruit companies here, but actually grow those companies, we have to do more than get the companies here. We have to invest in children and education. We can't have a system, a K through 12 system that does not focus on these areas and provide access to these areas. And so we have a good school system, but investing in those schools, investing in those children, teaching them early and often about all of the emerging technologies and the different applications that they apply to is something that we have to do if we actually want to cultivate an ecosystem that allows us to be at the forefront of these areas going forward.
So you've talked a lot about some success stories that were very important to highlight, but we know that there's some challenges. And based on the census, only 85% of households have broadband internet subscription. So what steps are being taken to address the digital infrastructure challenges, such as the broadband access and connectivity issues?
As I said previously, we've actually understanding that was the knowledge, that was the situation. Working with Mayor Cavo, we put a connectivity program in place. We've given 75,000 households that didn't have broadband. We're committed to do more, partnering with our state and federal partners. But more importantly, if we really want to bridge the gap, the digital gap, the access gap, what we actually do we have to be intentional. A lot of times we have this feeling that this technological revolution is going to magically spread across every community. It's not. It absolutely isn't. If we're not intentional about giving people access, poor people will remain poor, rich people will get richer. That is what will happen. So if we're not intentional about giving you access, because you have a lot of folks, listen, everybody has access to the internet because they're on their phone, but I don't want you trying to do your homework on your phone. That's not what I want. I don't want you researching, things that you come up with on your phone. I want you to have access to broadband. I want you to have access to a computer. I want you to be able to sit in your house and do it. That is important. And it might not seem like anything to the people in this room, but to those 75,000 families who did not have broadband access, and now they do, it means literally the world. So we keep working at it together.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Any upcoming initiatives? Oh, we should clap for that, yes. Any upcoming initiatives that you can tell us about in the spirit of narrowing the gap that exists?
Well, one thing I talked about the laptops we give away. Our laptop giveaway is coming up again. And so we're preparing for that because we know there's going to be probably, I think it's like 250 kids this year. So that we're planning to bless. But also just keeping the momentum going. You've given 75,000 families broadband. You can't stop. You can't sit down, rest on your laurels and be like, oh, we did a good job, pat yourself on the back. Because there's still hundreds of thousands who don't have access. Oh yeah, we have this great program and they teach these kids, but it's 50 kids who go through this program. There's still 50,000 who need access. You know, oh yeah, Barrington's doing a wonderful job, but Barrington's doing a wonderful job, and he has folks coming through his program, but it's not reaching everybody. It's gonna take more than me, it's gonna take more than the county commission, it's gonna take all of us. It's gonna take the people in this room, it's gonna take a mayor who is doing a fabulous job. We work with her well in bridging gaps. She understands, she gets it, but it's gonna take us committing resources, time, and I can't use this word enough, being intentional about our efforts. We're still working it from a county perspective. We're still pushing access to broadband. We're still funding all of these programs. But county funding isn't going to be enough. Partnerships with folks like you in this audience, just giving of your talent. Like, you are all talented people. You all have resources. Work with these programs. Find people and work with them. Because what we can't do individually, we can do together. And I believe we will do together.
Yeah. Chairman Gilbert, we've talked about investing in our community, particularly the youth. We've talked about the importance of ensuring that everybody has access, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked about the programs that you've been championing for decades now. So I would like to congratulate you on all of your efforts. I think it takes bold leaders like you to make this type of investment. And so I'm very appreciative and grateful for what you've done in the community. And so I'd like to give Chairman Oliver another round of applause.
Thank you. There's one thing we haven't talked about, and I feel like if I don't mention this in this very moment, that, well, two things. First, we look good in green, right? So yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is, and I have to say this, my wife is here. Walkeria, she's sitting over there. You always gotta say hi to your wife from the stage. Hey, babe. She's wearing green also. So if you all see her, and she didn't hear me say hello, tell her, your husband is so nice. Yeah, just make sure you put in a good word for me. But no, thank you for this, and thank you to, the Medinas, thank you for Emerge. Listen, it's not often that we have this conversation in the main room on the center stage. It's not often. What it shows is their commitment to actually amplify the conversation, that they understand that, it won't happen by itself. This ecosystem won't be diverse by itself. It won't spread to underserved communities by itself. These efforts won't be amplified by itself, that they have a convening power that allows them to help us do that. And so I appreciate them putting us here. I appreciate them facilitating the conversation. And I appreciate you all. You all could be out there, in the little cafeteria area, eating a medianoche or something, but you're actually here listening to us talk about the programs that we have going that's trying to transform this county, trying to spread this type of access to folks all over the county. And so I appreciate you all being here. And thank you very much.
Thank you. And I know we'll continue the conversation on the show. We'll invite the Medinas to come and talk on the show, because we're going to have conversation about tech on the next episode of In the 305 with Chairman Gilbert. So everybody catch the show. And
In the 305 with Chairman Gilbert, Island TV. You got to say things 3 times for people to remember them. In the 305 with Chairman Gilbert, Island TV. Y'all download the app. It's a pretty cool show. And, well, because it's with me on it, too, so it's pretty cool.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you all very much.